is now being recorded. Good afternoon, everyone. This is me again, Dr. Sameh, and this is EL111. Like I said, we're finishing off theme 2 today, and we're starting theme 3. I might need you for an extra class, inshallah, perhaps tomorrow or the day after, and we're going to arrange that together towards the end of the class. Again, let me just remind you that inshallah quiz 2 is next week, and it's going to run over the space of 4 days, depending on where your session is. I don't know, you guys are not Saturday, right? I think you're perhaps Sunday, right? Your quiz is on Sunday. Did you check the schedule? Did you check where you are? Hello? I'm asking you, Agama.
Yes, it's on Sunday.
On Sunday, good. Okay. Fine. Okay, let me just also remind people that if you have issues with the exam, if you meet challenges, I don't expect you under any circumstances to take photos of the exam. This is against the law as a matter of fact, and it can cost you the whole 15 marks. So if you have a problem, if you have a technical issue, don't ever take photos of the exam. What you can do instead is that you can simply describe the problem in an email. You send me an email and you describe the problem. Whether you describe it in Arabic or in is English is yeah, I mean it's fine if you describe it in any of the two languages, but don't ever take photos of the exam because this is again against university policy and it can cost you the quiz marks. Okay, طيب. So now let's okay. طيب, before we do that, let's do some exercises. Please mute your mic. Okay. So this is a knowledge quiz. Quiz is like a puzzle or a riddle, لغز يعني. But this one is based on your general knowledge and perhaps on also ideas that we have spoken about together in theme 2. So I'll give you a minute where I would like you to match column A with the second column. I would like you to match them together. And then, yeah, again, it's for 2 minutes and then we can talk about them. Okay, this is interesting food for thought. Yalla, go ahead. You guys have 2 minutes.
What page?
In my, and according to my book, it's page 58. I'm switching off my mobiles.
Done.
Okay. So can we talk about them? Yeah. Oh,
Yes.
okay. Let's do them. Okay. So, okay. So what can you raise? Horses, cars, other people.
Cars.
Then, yeah, that's interesting. Okay. Let's have people. So what can you inhabit? If you know the answer, just ask for permission.
Can I?
Okay, name please.
Ahmad.
Amal, go ahead.
A house, a town, an
Yes,
area, a
in
country.
yeah, yeah, very good. Can you give me a synonym for inhabit? Yeah, Amal.
What?
Inhabit. You said inhabit. You inhabit a house, right? You
Yeah.
inhabit. Yeah. Okay. So what is inhabit? Give me a synonym.
What's the meaning of synonym?
Synonym means a word that has the same meaning.
Mm, home.
No, no, not home. You inhabit a home, yeah, Amal. So inhabit is a verb. If I
Live.
ask, live, absolutely live, yes. So what can you inhabit or live in? So obviously you can live in a house. You can inhabit a planet. Okay. Okay. Thank you so much, yeah, Amal. A house, a town, an area, or a country. Okay, number three, everyone, very quickly. What orbits the Earth? Just to remember, orbit means goes or moves around.
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead.
Can,
The moon.
can,
Ah, yes, the moon orbits the Earth. Absolutely. Thank you so much. What's your name?
Amjad.
Amjad. Thank you,
can I
Amjad.
answer?
We're not done yet. Yeah, what's your name?
My name is Osam.
Hassan.
Oh.
Okay, Hassan, is it your first experience with us? Have you ever attended any of our classes? I know your voice and your name is not recognizable. Is it your first class with us or something?
Yes,
Okay, do you belong with us? Do you belong with this session or you are from another group or what? Yeah, Ghassan, why does it take you forever to answer back? What's the problem, Ya Ghassan? Go ahead, answer four for us. Okay, can we have somebody else? We don't have time, ready. Number four, everyone. When do you need a parachute? Hello? What's wrong?
Yes, can I?
Yes, go ahead.
To escape from a damaged plane?
To escape from a damaged plane. Yeah, thank you so
Yes,
much.
plane.
Okay, five, everyone. Who can you pray to? Pray. Of course, you know what. Yani,
Me, teacher. Me, doctor.
yeah. Okay, go ahead.
God or the gods.
Okay, absolutely. Okay, let's move to six, everyone. Six, number six, everyone. So, yeah, okay. Name, please.
Mhm.
Okay, Riham, go ahead. So, what does a primitive society not have? Hello? Can we have somebody else? I'm sorry.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead. So,
Which one? Can you repeat it?
number six. We're doing six.
What does society have? A lot of technology.
They don't have much technology. Yeah, absolutely. So primitive means what? What's your name?
Amjad.
I'm Jad again. Okay. So primitive means what? Advanced. So the relate
Not
the
advanced.
yeah. So let me ask you this question. Yeah, Amjad. The relationship between primitive and advanced is a relationship of similarity and closeness or oppositeness? Right.
Oppositeness.
Yes, absolutely. Primitive and advanced. So a primitive is obviously the opposite of advanced. Thank you so much. Okay, 7 everyone. What does an
I'm sorry,
astro?
doctor, it kicks me out. Sorry.
That's okay. Can you do 7, Yariham, very
Yeah,
quickly?
I can. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. What does an astrometer study in space?
So an astronomer studies space. Do we have space? Yeah, absolutely. Yes, good. Okay, thank you so much. 8, where are the tropics? Where are the
Yes, I
tropics?
can.
Yeah, what's your name?
Tedim.
Nadim.
Tedim.
Nadim.
Sa.
Said okay, said you go ahead.
North and south of the equator.
Yeah, the equator. The equator اللي هو خط الاستواء. So if you're north or south of it, you are in the tropics. Okay, that's why we when we speak about extreme weather, we say it's tropical weather. Tropical استوائي. Thank you so much, yeah, Sadim. 9 everyone. What do scientists do with a hypothesis? A hypothesis, I'm sorry. So what do scientists do with a hypothesis?
Yes, can I?
Yeah, name please.
Salwa.
Selwa, go ahead, yourself.
They try to prove it.
Yes, you know what a hypothesis is, yes, Selwa?
No.
Okay, so how can? Okay, so a hypothesis is like a theory. Okay, when you come up with an equation and you say this equation is going to solve the problems of the world, you come up with an idea saying, yeah, this is a great idea, and I think with it we can solve all the problems that we have in the world. This is called a hypothesis, افتراض يعني, or theory, نظرية يعني. Okay? So you do what with scientists do what with hypotheses? They try to prove them. Prove them means that they try to say to prove that they are correct. They try to test them so that they can prove them. Okay, so what do you do with firework? Everyone and anyone?
Set light to it.
You do what? Set
Set
light to,
light to it.
yeah, absolutely. Okay, thank you. Name, please.
As a weapon.
11, where are some animals becoming extinct?
May I answer, doctor, please?
Yeah, go ahead. What's your name?
My name is Adham Khalil.
Adham. Go ahead, yeah, Adham. No, go ahead.
Animals. Why are some animals becoming extinct? Because of the climate or human activities.
Yes, sometimes because of what we do in the environment, and it proves very damaging for them. That's why they become extinct. Extinct means what, yeah, Adham? When something becomes or
means it's gonna there will be no more of this animal in the world. Like
excellent,
it's
yeah,
gonna be dead.
mashallah. Excellent. Yeah, and it's going to be no more, no more. In a number of years, you don't find like lots of. Can you give us an example of an animal that is now extinct?
The pandas, the
No.
polar bears are also becoming extinct.
Yeah. How about the dinosaur? I think the dinosaur
Mammoth.
is.
Dinosaurs are
Yeah.
dinosaurs are also
The
extinct.
mammoth.
Yes, and some the mammoth. I don't know. Is it? I think it's a mythical kind of creature. Mythical means story, like the dragon. Does the dragon, the Chinese dragon, exist? I think it's some kind of a legendary animal.
No, I think it's real.
Dragon?
No, dragons aren't real.
No, it's not
It's a
the
legend,
dragon. I
that's
think the mammoth.
Yes, I'm confusing you. Okay, good. So, what can you use a rocket for?
Here, can I?
Yeah, of course. The first voice, the first male voice. Go ahead.
What
Yeah,
can
go
you
ahead.
use a rocket for?
Yes.
As a weapon or to get it into space?
Yeah,
As a
absolutely.
weapon or to get into space.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Okay. Let's move
Doctor,
to, yeah, what's your name? I'm sorry.
I'm Marwan at the beginning.
The other guy.
Yeah, the other guy.
I'm Naif Al-Masa.
Naif. Hi, Naif. How are you? You had a question. Go ahead. No, you don't have. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, so let's match the
أنا
مش
exam.
نعم. I
I'm
didn't
having
catch
an
that.
exam, Arabic exam for
You
30
have
minutes.
an, you mean you have an exam right now?
Yes,
طيب good luck. مع السلامة. ما فيش مشكلة. Good luck.
thank you.
You work. يلا match the opposites everyone very quickly. This has taken more than is required actually. This is meant as a refreshment. Yeah, let's do it. We don't have to think about it. These are simple opposites. So friend would be enemy or foe. Be born, quickly, be born.
Die.
I think
Die.
die.
Yeah, absolutely. Inland.
Land.
Land.
مش عارف. I don't know. Inland would be, yeah, this is the closest, right?
Yes.
Don't you think it can be on the coast? Well, you tried on the coast with something
I
else?
think on the coast.
Yeah, I think so too. Type insert.
Remove.
We're looking, and I'm sorry, Rama. I thought we're looking for synonyms. Actually, we're looking for opposites. I got it all wrong. I'm sorry. Yeah. Okay, so where are we? Insert. You either insert or, and the opposite would be to remove. Okay. Horizontal.
Vertical.
Vertical, absolutely. I think I have a virus. Okay. Positive.
Negative.
Negative. Take off. Take off.
Land.
Land. Put.
Take.
Put or take. Okay, they are close. Agricultural.
Industrial.
Industrial. You know what agricultural when we talk about crops and plants and all these kinds of things. Absolutely. Accept. Accept.
Reject.
Reject.
You accept a job offer, for example. You reject a job offer, right? That's interesting. Okay, can we do number 3 very quickly? Yeah. Match the words with the similar meaning, everyone.
Almost nearly.
Yeah, almost. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, let's do them. So almost would be nearly. Okay, attend.
Take place or not?
No. So you attend means that you what?
Get to.
Perhaps you attend the concert. It means that you go to it. But do we have go to? Yes, we have go to. Yeah, they are similar but not identical, if you know what I mean, right? So around.
About.
About, absolutely. Conclude.
And.
About.
And no. Conclude means if you يعني towards the end of the class, I'm going to conclude the class, which means I'm going to end it. So conclude, one of the meanings of conclude is to end something. So to conclude is to end. Okay, everyone?
All the people.
All the people.
Okay. Field. Not really.
Area.
Area.
Area, absolutely. Field, area. Bay. And it's not pay, this is bay. Bay is more or less like a harbor. Harbor, yani seaport. سموه خليج. Like Ni'ma Bay. In Egypt, we have a place somewhere called Ni'ma Bay.
Harbor.
Yeah, harbor, absolutely harbor. Hobby,
Interest.
interest, yeah, interest. قلت معلقة على الإنرجي. What's your name? No. So
Rita?
hobby, no, I mean the other young lady, I mean she keeps saying
Oh,
energy.
fuck.
Okay, so hobby is an interest, maybe,
Perhaps.
yeah, perhaps. Rude,
Impolite.
impolite, absolutely impolite. Reach,
Get to.
get to, yeah, participate,
Take part.
take part in something, excellent. Continue,
Go on.
Go on.
go on, absolutely go on, yes. Power,
Take
yeah,
Take
this one
place.
is energy. This one is
Take
energy, yes.
place.
Yeah, what about-
No,
Yeah.
no. Power is energy. Okay. Remember, I mean, we're all familiar with energy drinks, right? Sometimes they call them power drinks. صح? Are you
Yes,
familiar
yes.
with energy drinks?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, good. So very quickly, we're going to read the second part of a brief history of space travel. And the reason why we're doing it, I could have left it to you because we have done part one. So let's do part two in the same way. So as always, you're going to start with the visuals and the title, and then you make the transition to the text itself. Can we do that? Yes, we can. So I'll give you how many minutes to first of all study the visuals. I'll give you 2 minutes for the visuals, and then after that we can talk about the text itself. So you guys have 2 minutes from now. Look at the visuals, and of course by now you know what visuals are when we look at the pictures, right? And we also look at the title. We try to somehow connect them together and come up with expectations about the text ahead. Can we do that? Absolutely. Yalla. You guys have 2 minutes. Please mute your mic. Don't read yet. I don't want you to read the text yet. We have lots of people today, mashallah, 55 people. We have Heba, Shuqair, I think, Jawhara Faiz, Dana Al-Ainazi, Jumana Tahir, Bakhsh, I think, Lina, I don't know, Lina, is it Lina Musa or Lina somebody else? Marwan, our friend, Salwa Qadiri, Hagar Salahuddin, Abdurrahman Yasser, Usama Hassan, Yaslam, such a nice name, Abdul Qadir, Shannon. I'm hopeful that I'm not mispronouncing your family name, Ya Abdul Qadir. Adham Khalil, Ahmad Muhammad. We have never heard Ahmad Muhammad. Ahmed Nasser, Al-Anud Al-Hajiri, Amal Al-Malki, Jad, Amna El-Shami, Aya, Basma, Bayan, Dalia Mansour. Can we go to the, can we talk about the visuals? What do you have to say
Doctor,
about
you
the
didn't say my name.
لا, no, I didn't go يعني that far. I'll perhaps
Okay.
when we finish this part, I'll go back to your name. What's your name?
My name is
What's
Nawaf Al-Oni.
Nawaf? Okay,
Yeah.
Nawaf. Welcome, yeah, no, Nawaf.
Thank you so
طيب.
much.
So what do we do with the visuals? Okay, when we talk about the visual, we go in two steps. The first step would be to unpack the visual. Unpack the visual means that you talk about its physical details, what the visual actually has. Okay, the physical details of the visual. And then you move on to the second level, which is talking about what the visuals combined together can give us in terms of ideas about the text. Okay, so the first level is segmental or is basic or physical. The second level is suprasegmental or rhetorical, where you talk about big ideas that the physical details inspire you with. Okay, and then you try to connect the visuals with the heading or the title, because like I always say, the title has to have a bearing on the text. The choice of the title is not arbitrary or random, مش عشوائي. It has to have a relationship of a sort with the text. Okay, so can we do that? Yes, let's start focus on the physical level of things. Let's unpack the visuals. So how many visuals there are? What can you see? Can we do that? Mm. Mm.
Yes, we can.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. I saw Sputnik is the first Russian spaceship, I think.
Okay.
Okay, and there are some rockets. Two
Okay.
rockets.
Mhm.
The black picture, I think this is the first rocket they try to
It's a
send it to
rocket
the
after all.
space. Yeah.
I don't want you to, I just want you to tell me that you can see this and that.
Okay.
Okay, this is the first level, Yariham. We try to describe what meets our eyes. Okay,
Yeah.
and then we move on to the second level, which is, perhaps connecting what we see in front of our eyes to our background knowledge. You say, for example, Sputnik, and you know what Sputnik is, and right. So again, the first level would be the physical level. Okay, so Riham can see rockets, different types of rockets. Some of them are stationed on the ground, and some of them are being launched, right?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Do you have, can we have somebody else talk about the same thing, the visuals? The
Yes.
segmental level. Yeah, okay, go ahead.
It will be a rocket, and maybe they will shoot it to the space, and that's it, the station for it.
Okay, so
Yeah.
again, the first level is not interpreting. We're not interpreting. احنا ما بنفسرش.
Okay, I'm just trying to guessing. Okay.
Oh, okay. So let's leave guessing to the second level, where you try to come up with ideas. So the physical level would be to tell me that I can see four pictures, and the four pictures are all of rockets. Some of those rockets are either on the ground or being launched, right? This is going to be the first level. The second level would be to tell me what your expectations are. I mean, you connect the pictures to the title, you put them together and come up with ideas about the text. Can you do that?
Yes, we do it.
Okay, yalla, go ahead. What's your name? Marwa. Go ahead. mean?
Space travel like NASA. They
Okay.
are like NASA.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, go on, go on.
In 1948,
Mm.
is was in United States.
Okay. What's your name again?
Jumana Baksh.
Samara.
Jumana Baksh.
Jumana. Okay, I'm sorry, Jumana. Okay, thank you so much, Jumana. Can we have somebody else connecting the dots and coming up? Yeah, go ahead, Marwan.
We see here some kinds of rockets here.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't recognize what is in the third picture. There's a Spanac, I think.
I think it's now this kind of rocket is actually the rocket. We're normally not interested in the rocket as much as what the rocket carries. But this is obviously what the rocket carries. Can be a space, station. We don't have to have the whole thing from the visuals. The visuals are only meant to help us. So we're not going to get everything from the visuals, okay? But they can help us a great deal. So you don't have to worry if you don't get it right from the first time. It's okay. Okay, we're only guessing.
Okay,
right?
So you talk about the ideas we came up.
Yes.
I think this paragraph will talk about the levels about rocket launching.
Okay. Did we talk about that in part one? Do you still remember what part one was about?
Part one, you talk about the history of the rocket, I think.
Yes. It was all about the history of the rocket and also gunpowder. We went all the way back to ancient China.
Yeah, it began as a Chinese rocket.
Yes, and we spoke about the Arabs and how they helped take gunpowder from China to Europe, right? And the Europeans, instead of using them in fireworks, they used them to fight with, right? Spoke about castles and how they stopped functioning because of the cannons, right? Remember that?
Right. Yeah, I remember.
Right. What I want you to do now is that I want you to read the text. Okay, and reading the text is also about verifying our intuitions. What we said are or is called intuitions or guesses. Okay, good guesses. We're trying to see whether our guesses were good or not, good enough, I mean. And we can come up with ideas based on what we will understand. Okay, so go ahead, read it. If you don't have the book, you can see it on the screen. If you have the book, you can use it. It doesn't have to be that big. Okay. I'm sorry, I cannot obviously capture the whole text on the screen. So I trust that you all have the book. Do you all have the book?
No, I didn't.
You don't.
I have the book from our email. They send us a code, so you have electric copy.
So yeah, this is what I mean. I don't mean the physical book. You don't have to. I mean.
So we have, yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead. You guys have perhaps 4 minutes to read it on your own, and come back to me with insights and ideas. Okay, 4 minutes, everyone, and I'll read along. Are we done?
Yes, done.
Okay. So are we all done? Should I give you 1 more minute?
Yes, we are.
Okay. Okay. طيب. Let's talk about it. Okay, so the retelling stage. So I would like you to tell me what you have understood. Can we talk about it? Yes, we can. I understand and I also appreciate the fact that you have read it once and it's long. I don't expect you to give me everything. It's okay. But at least you came up with something. So let's share this something that you came out with. يلا. Hello. Hello. Yeah, Gamal, nothing
Yeah,
is
that,
wrong
that
at
is
this point in
through my
time.
interpretation.
Don't worry about saying even whatever is not there. Just share. Okay, it's okay. Nothing is wrong at this point in time. Yalla. Somebody was saying something.
Okay, I'll give that a try.
Yeah. Okay.
So in the beginning, it was just a missiles. It wasn't became a rocket space directly.
Okay.
There was Alphonse Brown. He gave his work to the Russian, and they developed it. I think Russian scientists developed this, and they put a satellite, which is named Sputnik 1, in orbit on the Earth. Okay.
Okay.
They orbited
Thank you.
the Earth.
Okay, go
Then,
on.
okay. I remember another information that the space that they launch every time they get back to Earth without it. Okay, they just get back in capsules, and that was really expensive for.
Losing? You mean losing the rocket or the?
No.
The missile that they go with. Normally
Yeah,
they go with a missile or a rocket, but they don't come back with it, right? And this was
yeah, they
expensive.
don't come back with it.
Okay.
They just get back to Earth in small capsules.
Okay.
So they develop what is the shuttles. Yeah.
Okay.
The shuttles made a lot of work. They also put an equipment and other things to space, they can go and return with it.
Okay, good.
So yeah, it's dangerous sometimes. Their accidents happened, and yeah, I think that's all.
Okay, thank you so much. Can we have somebody else? Hello? I know there is a great deal of information involved, but you don't have to memorize or mention everything, like I said. Remember, this is the first time, and obviously people need to read something more than once. I understand, but like I always say, the visuals, I'm sure, helped you, and also the fact that yeah, our memories are short, it is true, but they are not that short, right? So give me the storyline, if you like, the skeleton. Don't give me so many details. I know that so many details would come if you read it more than once. Hello? Can we have one of our young ladies? Mhm. Is it lack of understanding or lack of energy? Hello?
I think understanding. I
What?
had to read it multiple times. I think
Yeah,
lack of
that's okay. Yeah.
understanding.
Yeah, then I appreciate the fact that you guys are doing your best to understand it. But yani, and unfortunately, we don't have the luxury of reading it more than once. That's why we're trying to also develop this idea of quick understanding. That
Yeah, Angela, I think most of the people here is trying to at least give you the idea.
Yeah, I mean the basic idea. Like I said, I'm not expecting huge things. I don't have high expectations, because high expectations come with, more than reading more than once, which
Yes.
I'm not giving you actually. But at least the idea. Okay, let me share with you perhaps some techniques as how you can also um ensure understanding. Remember when we spoke about texts, and we said that texts are all about rhetorical networks that you are all the time trying to explore within the text. What do I mean by rhetorical networks? I said that sentences and paragraphs are all about reasonable and logical relationships. Okay, the writer established them, and you try to discover them. Remember relationships of cause and effect, relationships of addition, relationships of exemplifications, giving examples, relationships of condition, where something is a requirement of something else, right? So let's try to quickly scan the text. Scanning would be to read something very quickly in order to get to a piece of information. So you don't obviously read the text very carefully anymore or very closely anymore. You just read it very quickly in order to get to what is required. This is called scanning. So I would like you to scan the text for words and phrases that carry those relationships, that would indicate and show those relationships. Those relationships are called, or those words and phrases are called transition words and phrases. They make the transition from one sentence to another, from one paragraph to another. Just remember when we spoke about however, spoke about for example, spoke about but, on the one hand, on the other hand, right? These are called transition words and phrases, and again, they um, they they help you a great deal, and understand some. So, can we scan the text for transition words and phrases? Can we do that? Yes, we can. Transition words and phrases, ya jamaa. Are you going to look for them? Yes, you will. Go ahead. I'll also look for them with you. Go paragraph by paragraph. Remember, this shouldn't be thorough. This shouldn't be very careful. No, just quickly scan the paragraph for a relationship that is again indicated and demonstrated through a transition word or a phrase. I'll look for some.
Dr. Sama,
Yes.
I'm sorry, I think I have a problem with my network. It's keep kicking me out. What are we doing now?
Actually, we're looking, yeah, Riham, we're looking for transition words and phrases. Remember, we said that in order to fully understand a text, you need to explore the rhetorical networks within the text. What are the rhetorical networks? The relationships, the logical relationships that the writer tries to establish. So if the writer tries to establish them, you need to uncover and discover them when you read. When you read them, you can connect the sentences together and come up with ideas. Remember when we spoke about relationships of cause and effect, relationships of condition, relationships of contrast, relationships of addition, relationships of exemplification, relationships of time where you have first, second, third, later, then. Okay, so we're looking for them, yeah, Riha. And I'm looking for them with you. Okay. Have you seen that? So these are the transition words and phrases that we have. Can somebody read them? The ones that I highlighted. I need somebody to read them out loud for us. Yeah. Go ahead.
Here, doctor.
Okay.
Yes. Okay, the gentleman, go ahead.
Okay, first word is at the end.
At the end of. This is not a word, what's...
catchphrases.
we call it a phrase. If it doesn't have a verb, we call it. So this is a phrase. Okay, so at the end of. Okay, go ahead.
Next is however.
However, go on.
Then after that.
Okay, go on.
Also.
Also.
However.
Yes.
Later.
Later.
Okay, but.
But.
And like.
Mm-hmm.
In total.
Mm-hmm.
At first.
Mm-hmm.
Then.
Mm-hmm.
Then we have however. And the most important is for example.
Why is it the most important? They are all important.
Yeah. Then we have also, then resulted in.
Okay, so these again, these are signal words and phrases, and we also call them transition words and phrases. Okay, so what do we need them for? Like I said, they establish reasonable relationships between sentences and among paragraphs. Okay, again, the relationships that we normally have are relationships of exemplifications, where if you have, for example, you know that what comes after is an example, even if you don't understand one single word from the sentence that comes after. Okay, when you have however, you know that we are contrasting two things. We're saying that the second sentence, the sentence that comes after however, is different, is opposite. Okay, so at the end of it means that we are reaching the end of something, right? When we have after that, you have this sequence. Somebody is giving us steps or stages of development. So after that happens to be a step on the way. When you have also, you know that what comes after also would be similar to what came before, right? Later is it gives you a sense of time. Again, if you have but is exactly like however, right? Like when I say that Ali is like Ahmed, so like is or establishes a relationship of closeness and similarity. In total, so you expect to see totals, okay? So putting things together. At first, you know that we are in for a sequence. A number of steps are taken and we're giving them. So at first, and then you normally, if you have at first, you have next, you have second, you have then, you have after that, right? If you have, for example, so you know that there is, an example will be given. Result in, it means that you will have a result after the phrase result in. Okay? Are you getting the idea?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, let me give you an example or two. So again, at the end of, this is the first transition. At the end of, it means that we're talking about the end of something. So what was this end, or this something? It was the war, the Second World War in 1945. Okay, so it establishes space or space and time. Okay, time. And then you have the word however. So you can never have however at the beginning of a sentence, right? You can never have the word but at the beginning of a sentence. Okay, why? Because but and however and nevertheless give you the indication that we're marking a difference or a contrast between something and something else. Okay, so the word however here is not the beginning of the sentence, right? Do you think it's the beginning of a sentence? No, it's not the beginning,
No.
by the way.
It's not.
Okay, it's not. So it's simply, we have this heading that is being enlarged, which starts with at the end, and then we started to kind of make the font small. So however is a continuation of the paragraph that starts with at the end of. Okay, so like I said, however indicates that we have a contrast of a sort, tanaqud, right? So can we talk about it? I'll do it, and then I'll give you perhaps something to do later. So missiles, by the way, we're using the word missiles or missiles to mean rockets. Rockets and missiles are one and the same. So missiles at that time were just very big rockets. Okay? However, so you need to remember that missiles at that time were just very big rockets would be the sentence that we're going to contrast, that we are going to put in contrast with another sentence. So however comes in the middle between missiles at that time were just very big rocket. However, von Braun's work on missiles did not directly produce the first space rocket.
So is it similar to the phrase in fact?
No, absolutely no. However, here gives you the indication that something unexpected happened. Okay, remember in this part we're talking about space travel, right? So we expected the missiles to be used with space travel, right?
Yeah.
So this was the idea. Von was meant to do that. Did he do that? No, he didn't. Somebody else will come over and take the idea and develop it, and they use it in space. The Russians did that. So however, so there is a contrast between what they wanted to do and what they actually did with it. So however, von Braun's work on missiles did not directly produce the first space rocket. Okay, right. Okay. So when you go even backwards, you would discover that von Braun, when he went to the United States, they wanted him to do what? They wanted him to, he was the director of the US missile program. This missile program was meant to take them to outer space. But at the beginning, he didn't do that, or they didn't do that. Okay, who did that? It's the Russians. They obviously somehow took the idea, or they stole the idea normally, because this is highly confidential. They took the idea and they worked on it, they developed it, and they were the first people to launch the first space rocket. Okay, let's move on. Let's go to another however. Do we have another however?
Yeah, we have.
Yes. Can we think about it? Yeah, let's think about it along the same lines. So where are we going to start? So the use of the shuttle reduced the cost of space exploration considerably. Okay, so the shuttle or the shuttle technology was good news, right? So instead of leaving the rocket back in space, and this is obviously very expensive, they came out or they came up with the technology of the shuttle. What did the shuttle technology did? It reduced or lowered the cost of space exploration. However, However means what? There is bad news coming up, right? There is a contrast. Okay, we have spoken about whatever is positive about shuttle technology, but there is a problem. So whenever you use but or however, it means that but والله يا مروان ده رائع ولكن بس don't we do that؟ مروان جميل وكل حاجة بس. This best kind of thing is however or but or nevertheless. So you expect me to say one negative or perhaps two negative things about Marwan. Okay? So the use of
as we see here in the sentence.
Yes. So the use of the shuttle reduced the cost of space exploration considerably, and this is beautiful. However, بس إيه بقى? There were also terrible accidents. Okay, يعني it couldn't prevent terrible accidents. Okay, so when people went back on the shuttle, sometimes the shuttle explodes. Okay, طيب. For example is what? For example is going to be about the pluses of the shuttle or the negatives of the shuttle. Which of them is close? The last thing that we said was about terrible accidents. So the examples that we're going to give about the terrible accidents or about how beautiful the shuttle is.
It's about terrible.
Yes, yes. Fine. So for example, so whenever you have the transition phrase, for example, you expect to see what? You expect to see examples of something, right? So what are the examples? So for example, the explosion of Challenger on January 28th, 1986. I remember I was, I don't know, I was, this was 1986 and I was born in 1970. I was young, I remember very vividly. When, I mean, we heard the news, of course, and people were killed in the shuttle. Okay, so for example, the explosion of Challenger, this one, and that would lead to the suspension of the shuttle program for 3 years. Suspension means to stop something momentarily for a while. And also the damage to the heat shield on Columbia. And then we have another transition phrase, resulted in the loss of the shuttle on February. Are you getting the idea? Are you getting how important transition words and phrases are? So obviously it's not about identifying or detecting the transition word or phrase as much as it is about knowing what function or what purpose it has in and between sentences. Okay, so we use it as a tool to uncover the networks and the relationships that we have within the text. Okay, so let's move on. Okay, I'll keep the writing because we do writing in the writing center in other places, and I'll go straight to theme 2. The writing is basically about biography writing. Biography writing is when you write about other people. And remember when we spoke about descriptive essays and we said that one subject of descriptive essays would be to talk about people, right? And people could be somebody that you look up to, can be your father, can It can be your parents. Remember, we did analyze a descriptive essay on the title was my grandfather, right? Remember that? We did something as an example, a model descriptive essays on people. So we'll leave that aside now and go all the way to theme 2, and then we can always come back. Like I said, we have already done descriptive essays on people. Okay. Right. So this is going to be theme 3, everyone. And theme 3 is on news and media. And this is very relatable, right? Because obviously media is part and parcel of our life. And we are, also news is all over the place. We are either consumers of news or makers of those items of news. Okay. So theme 3, news and media. News, advertising, the value of magazines, media studies, research reports. This is what we will be addressing today and perhaps tomorrow, inshallah. So look at the illustrations on the opposite page. Remember what illustrations are. Illustrations are visuals, are pictures and graphs and diagrams, right? So you know them, and also you know their purpose and function, what they do if we have a text. Of course, they inform the experience of reading a text. You look at them first, and then you go to the text and try to benefit from the time you invested in looking at the illustrations and unpacking their details, whether they are physical or rhetorical. Okay, so these are the visuals. Can you see them? These are the illustrations. And I remember telling you what illustration or illustrations exactly mean. So to illustrate is to give an example, right? So illustrations are examples, but those examples are visual examples. Okay, so what do you need examples for? Examples, of course, makes you understand and comprehend things easily, right? And examples using illustrations are sometimes even easier to interpret and understand than verbal examples. Because as they say, a picture is worth 1,000 words. So you can write 1,000 words describing something, and somebody else can come up with a picture, a small picture that can sum up the whole idea. You understand it easier than those 1,000 words. Okay, so take advantage of illustrations. They can help you a great deal. And of course, you deal with them before you go to the text itself. Okay, so these are illustrations. So how many illustrations can you see? Hello?
Yeah,
We can
have
see
like
8.
8. Yeah, 8. Okay, fine. I'll minimize them so that we can have them in one. Yes. No. Okay, so I would like you to study them.
Yes, doctor.
Yes, what? Go ahead. What's the problem?
Doctor, can I leave
Yeah.
because I have an appointment in the hospital?
Are you a doctor or something?
Yes, it's appointment emergency.
Okay, okay, no problem. What's your name?
Jumana Baksh.
Okay, Juman. Thank you so much. Good luck. Again, look, I would like you to study the illustrations and tell me whether they share something, whether they have anything in common. Okay, can we do that? Yes, we can. You guys have a minute. I would like you to study the 6 illustrations, the 6 visuals, and come up with conclusions as whether they are related to each other or not. And if they are related, how? If they have anything in common, if they share anything. You guys have a minute, or perhaps 2, because we have 6 big illustrations. We also have Shahd Ali and Sulaiman Said, Wisal Abdulaziz, am I, do we have Shania Al-Haqqawi, Sana Al-Dosari, or Sarah, I'm sorry, Sarah Al-Dosari, Sana Hussein, Salwa Qadiri, Safiya Al-Amoudi, Sadim Al-Otaibi, somebody without a name, which is very bad. I would like you, when you come to the class, you need to have a name. It's S20413046@aou.edu.sa. And then we have Riyuf Al-Hamoud. Russell. Russell, are you the Russell? Russell Gamal, yeah. Russell is no longer participating, which is very strange because she used to be so very active in the past. And we have Riham, Reem Fahd, Rahaf El Ghamdi, Noof, Noura Al-Thaq. I'm not sure I'm pronouncing the name correctly. Nawaf Al-Aouni, Naif Al-Muafa, Nahil, Nadia, Mustafa Bayoumi, Muhammad. Okay, fine. So somebody was raising his or her hand. Come to the mic if you would like to say something.
Doctor, I didn't hear my name.
No problem, yeah. Shoku, no problem.
Me too, doctor. Sorry.
It's okay. I'm not taking attendance, but I'm just trying to acknowledge your presence. It's okay. Don't worry.
Doctor, may I try?
Try what?
To say about the pictures or the
Yeah.
examples?
Okay. Okay. Go ahead.
So what I can see in common, the physical things, a paper that contain words, a message, and in each one it contained different language.
Okay.
This is about the physical things, a group of people, and the person who's holding a paper, a message, and some are reading, and another is reading the message.
Okay.
So do you want me to give now the conclusion or no need?
No, no. Thank you, Nahil. Thank you so much. Can we have somebody else? Yeah, go ahead, Yashuk.
I saw. Can you before that, doctor? Can you tell me what that word you said first?
No, I cannot. Can we have somebody who have heard us? We'll get back to you, Yashok.
Okay, I will remember it and come back.
Okay.
I saw it.
Okay, go ahead.
It's a group of people, different, and there is one messenger reading some message for the group.
Okay, good. How about the other pictures? Can't you notice or feel that there is a common thread? Common thread يعني في حاجة مشتركة، في خيط مشترك.
So,
yeah, yeah,
Like
try.
I would say in the beginning it's a newspaper, but it's not, because in the first picture we can see obviously it's not a newspaper. So I think the related thing between them is the announcement. They're all announced something.
They are all announcing something.
Yeah.
Okay. Wouldn't the fact that the different visuals or the different illustrations belong to different ages, wouldn't that help you? Obviously, we talk about things that belong to different ages. Did you get that feeling that the visuals or the illustrations belong to different ages?
Yeah, for sure.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Some of them are very modern. Look at the last one. The F, is it F or H? Look at visual H. Right? What is visual age?
It's like a British
It's
magazine.
the new
Newspaper.
A newspaper, right?
Yes, or a newspaper.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, very good. Okay. Look at perhaps picture 8. We also have somebody is holding a paper, right?
Yeah. And told people
Right,
what
doctor.
Okay. Look at picture D. So what's happening in D?
I think it's the old printer,
Okay. Okay.
such as they are printing a
Okay.
newspaper.
So type. Can we move to the rhetorical or the suprasegmental level? The suprasegmental level would mean that you put all those clues together or all these key ideas together and come up with a big picture. What's the big picture? What do you think the whole thing is about?
Can I say, doctor?
Yes, go ahead.
I think the old pictures, they are talking about the revolution of newspaper.
Okay. You mean the revolution or the evolution? Evolution means development or history. Do you mean the history of newspapers?
Yes, the history of newspapers.
Okay. So is it going to be the history of newspapers or the history of news? How news are carried from one place to another?
I think the second one, the history of news, not the paper itself.
Okay. Okay. طيب. That's good. Is it the same conclusion, ya Marwan, that you came out with?
Yeah, that they are announced something, so
Yes. Okay.
how it's
So
gone.
this is how people used to announce things, right?
Yeah, right.
Right, doctor.
Okay. Fine. Let's go back. So what does each illustration show? Okay. So let's go to 3.1 in the listening part and see what it is all about. 3.1, everyone. Okay, so this is 3.1. So can somebody read them out loud for us? So
maybe cannot.
Yeah. Okay, okay, Shoko. This is about the pictures that or the visuals or the illustrations that we have just seen. Go ahead.
Me or Marwan?
Yeah, go ahead, yeah, Shoko.
Okay. News and media. Picture A. A Roman man is making an official announcement to crowd.
A Roman man is making an official announcement to the crowd. So you have a crowd, a group of people, and somebody is making an official announcement. Official means formal. حاجة رسمية. إعلان رسمي. Okay, go on يا شوكو.
Picture B. This is a very early newspaper.
Okay.
Picture C. This is an example of early printing from China.
Okay.
Picture D. This is an early machine for printing. Sorry.
Okay.
Picture E. This is one of the first newspapers in the world.
Fin in the world. Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
Picture F. This is one of the very first newspaper advertisement.
Okay.
Picture G. The people are listening to a story from a newspaper because some of them cannot read.
Okay.
Picture H. Picture H. This is a range of print media.
Arrange.
Okay, sorry. This is a range of print media from the present day.
Yeah, okay. Thank you so much, Shoko. Okay, so are you getting the, if you check how many times the word news and the word newspaper was mentioned, right?
Right, Doctor.
Okay, so it's all about news, it's all about newspapers, and it's all about the history of news giving or delivering, right? Okay, good. Fine. Let's go back and see. Okay, so again, we come back to the idea of lecture organizing. So, like I said, we're interested on how lectures are organized so that when you are following a lecture or a class, you know what to expect and when to expect things, right? Especially if you're taking down notes. So understanding the organization of a lecture. You're going to listen to a lecture on the early history of the mass media. Study the notes on the right. So we'll hear, actually we're going to read. we're going to read the script of a lecture or part of a lecture on the early history of the mass media. So study the notes. Study the student notes on the right, 3.2. After you have finished studying the notes, these are the notes, where you're going to listen to the introduction to the lecture, and we're going to check what the lecture or the lecturer is going to talk about, and see whether the notes were correct or not. So the notes, the notes that the student has taken, one of them is spoken news, the second one is written news, Rome and China, and the third one is printing and early newspapers. We are going to read the script and see whether those notes are correct or wrong. Can we do that? Of course we can. So this was page 191. Okay, this is the introduction that I would like you to read. Go ahead, read. And then after you're done reading, we can always talk about it. Is it clear enough, ya Jamaa?
Yes, doctor, it's clear.
Okay, yalla, go ahead. You have a minute from now, because it's not very long, it's only the introduction. You may want to take down notes. Always make it a habit of yours to take down notes. It's not bad at all. Taking down notes. Like they say, and I'm not sure if you have heard this expression, but it's in Arabic. I don't know how to translate it. They say, القراءة صيد والكتابة قيد, which means that you read, and of course you can be smart about what you read and you come up with ideas, but unless and until you take down the ideas that you read, they are going to fly away. Again, in order to make maximum use of what you read, you have to take down notes. And this is actually what I always do. Whenever I read, I take down notes. And these are examples, very strange. These are examples of the notes that I take. Can you see? These are all notes from books. That's always good. It's always good to take down notes.
Yeah, that's right.
Notes.
These are notes. Well, see? Okay, let's go back. I'm sorry, this is personal, and I'm just trying to communicate, good practices. Yeah.
Done, doctor.
Okay, good.
Done.
Okay. Okay. So obviously you can see what I'm highlighting, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So why did I highlight today? So it's today, not tomorrow, right? And it's not yesterday, right? He says I'm going to, and then after that he said I'm not going to, right? He said
Right.
he said not, and then the complete, which means that what he's going to say is not the complete thing. And then he complements it, supports this idea of not completeness by saying just the early, just, right? And then another just, right?
Right, doctor.
And then he says another day, he says he will leave something perhaps another day. And then you have, the transition words that you're familiar with. First, then, next, finally. Remember, when you have them, you have steps. Okay, so if you organize things this way, if you understand things this way, the likelihood that you understand the whole thing easily and quickly is very high. Okay, طيب. So whatever we have understood. Okay, so what did we understand? Can we retell? Can we say what we have understood?
Yeah.
Can we have somebody else other than Nahil and Marwan and Riham and Shuku?
So no.
No one? Which is very strange because we have over 50 people. Okay, طيب. طيب. Can we have somebody else? We don't have somebody أصلا عشان to have somebody else. Okay, طيب. Volunteers, whoever would like to speak.
So.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
He's gonna tell a part of the story. He's not gonna tell the whole story.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's specific.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So obviously I failed to highlight the word early, because early is very important here. It's the early history. It's not the whole history like this. He's going to focus on the early history of the mass media. Okay. And he said for news. Obviously, when we talk about mass media, we have news, we have entertainment, right? We have lots of things. But he said that I'm going to focus on news, for news, right? And in order to perhaps stress this idea of not talking about anything other than news, he said, I'm not going to talk about the complete history today. No, it's only early history, right?
Right, doctor.
Yeah.
And he says that I'm again, in order to emphasize the idea of news, is going to say I'm not going to talk about the mass media for entertainment. No, this is not what I'm. Just the mass media for news. See how many times he emphasized that? And he says that I'm going to leave mass media for entertainment for another day. Okay, now that he has established the fact that he's going to talk about the early history of the mass media for news, he's going to tell us how he's going to go about it. Okay? And in this case, he's going to engage in sequence giving. Sequence means that you have steps, right? Sequential steps. He says, first, I'll talk about spoken news. Then I'll tell you about written news in ancient Rome and ancient China. Next, I'll describe the start of printing and the development of daily newspapers. And finally, I'll set you an assignment. I'll give you an assignment. Okay?
I think
If you
this
have,
is a really good style in writing.
yeah, that's
So
everything is
yes,
very
so
specific.
people who aren't interested in, they can skip the article.
Yes, I mean, this is typical of introductions, of good introductions, ya Marwan. You are giving people what you plan to do in the rest, throughout the essay or the article, right from the very beginning. So they know what you are up to and up for. Okay, so I would like you, I'll keep this page and I'd like you to go to the notes of the student. Remember the notes of the student? Go and check the notes against the introduction and see whether the student wrote the notes in a correct way or not, whether he
Doctor,
is.
I didn't have the book.
You don't have the book?
Yes, I
Not
don't.
that. Okay. You don't have the book. Type, it's okay, no problem. Do you still remember? Whoever has the book, it's very simple. The student took 3 notes actually, if you still remember them. So what we're trying to say is that we have the script of the introduction to the class. We're going to check the notes that the student taken against the script and see whether he is confusing, he is mentioning something that was not mentioned in the introduction or not. Can we do that very quickly?
Yes.
Okay, so tell me your conclusions. If you set the notes against the text, did the student do a good job?
No.
No. How and why?
No,
Yeah,
He,
go ahead.
what I can see that he got confused in the ideas.
Okay. What did he say as the first note?
First note, he write people did not get news of event in early history, but in the passage itself, they say that we are going to talk about the early history of mass media.
Talk, ya Nihal. You keep repeating this.
Mistakes.
L. Talk. We don't pronounce the L.
Talk.
Okay.
Okay. So the first.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay. So in the first mistake is A, that he said that there is no such as like there's no news in the early history.
Okay.
But in the in the it's false.
Yeah, in the text itself, we do have. I mean, the guy or the lecturer said that he's going to talk about the early history of the mass media for news, which means that we do have early history of that. Yeah.
And
How about the
for
second one? Yeah.
B, he wrote ancient Greece. It's wrong. It's ancient Roma.
Yes, it's ancient Rome.
And can I continue? May I
Yeah,
continue?
go ahead. Yes.
For C, it's not printed text. It should be written news.
Written news. Okay. Right. That's great. Thank you, Nahil. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Okay, let's now go to the rest of the lecture. So what are we going to do with the rest of the lecture? We're going to check. Remember what he said? Remember what the lecturer or the teacher said he is going to talk about? So the introduction is here. We read the introduction and we understood what he wanted to say. And normally the introduction is meant to prepare us for the rest of the text. It tells us about ideas that the writer is going to develop and expand on in the rest of the text. or in the list of the lecture. So we're going to read the rest of the lecture and see whether the writer is faithful to what he said. Whether, I mean, he made a number of promises in the introduction. He said that I'm going to talk about this and not to talk about that. I'm going to mention this and I'm not going to mention that. I'm going to go in steps about this or that. Okay, so we read the rest of the text or the rest of the lecture in order to see whether he is making good on his promises or not, whether he is keeping his promises or not. If he keeps his promises, the promises that he made in the introduction, it means that he is not contradicting himself and he is doing a good job. If he is missing on a lot of the promises that he made in the introduction, we are going to come up with the conclusion that the writer didn't do a good job. Okay, so the introduction is more or less like an agreement that you have with your reader as a writer or as a class teacher. You gave us an introduction, Dr. Samih, and you said that you're going to talk about this and that. But during the class, we didn't feel that you are giving us what you promised us at the beginning of the class. It means that you're not doing a good job. Okay, so it's always about keeping one's promises, whether we're talking about writing or anything else for that matter. Okay, so what we're trying to prove and establish here is whether the class teacher in this lecture is actually fulfilling his promises or not. Where are his promises? They are in the introduction. He said, I'm going to talk about the early history. We're going to go and check whether he is actually talking about the early history or not. He said that I'm going to focus on news. We're going to see whether he's focusing on news or perhaps giving us something else, entertainment, for example. He's going to say, he said that I'm not going to give the complete history today. We're going to check whether he is doing that or he is going beyond that and giving us the complete history without knowing. What else? I mean, he said he made those arrangements. So he said that I'm going to start with spoken news and we're going to check whether he actually started with spoken news or not. And then he said that after that, I'll tell you about written news in ancient Rome and ancient China. We will check whether he did that, whether he spoke about written news, and whether he spoke about ancient Rome and ancient China or not. Okay, and so on and so forth. Let's do it. And I'm expecting this is going to be our last for those who got tired already. I would like you to read it and see and always set it against the introduction. The set of promises that the writer or the lecturer gave in the introduction. Yalla, go ahead, ya Jama'a.
We will check that he brought his promises or not, yeah?
Yes, yeah. Go ahead. It's long, I know. I'll give you 5 minutes for that. Done?
Just 1 minute.
Okay. Please rest reassured. I'm not expecting full understanding. I know it's long. I know that you're reading it for the first time. That's okay. But like I said, you need to come up with something. Done, doctor. Okay, good. So did you notice what I did? Did you notice the highlighting that I was making? Yes. It's for the most part transition words and phrases, right? So words like gradually, for example, but, because, therefore, however, then, so, but, also. So these are transition words. And like I always say, you need to always look at what comes before them and what comes after them. They establish a relationship, a logical relationship between the sentences that they connect. Okay, so if you have because, you have a relationship of cause and effect. Effect here means result. So after because, you know that there is a result. Okay, whenever you have but or however, you know that what comes after after but or however is a contrast, is a difference from what comes before, right? When you have for example, you know that you are up for an example after the phrase for example. When you have gradually, you know that the writer is trying to tell you that there is gradation. Gradation means levels. And something happens in steps. It doesn't just happen all at once. When you have therefore, you know that what comes after is also a result. Then, so you know that we're talking about arrangement, sequence or arrangement, and so on and so forth. Okay, I'll stop on this note and with this item. And again, I'll meet you again tomorrow. And I would like us to agree on a mutually agreeable time. I have a class at 4 p.m. tomorrow, so I won't be available at 4. So let's try to stay away or refrain away from 4 or 2. I normally prepare.
4 till 6, doctor, or what?
Naam?
4 till 6 or what?
For what?
Till 6.
No, Yeah, 4 until 6. And I normally, after the class, I'm exhausted because of it's a literature class, and it's philosophy, and philosophy is very heavy-handed. So I don't expect us to meet after 6. I expect us to meet perhaps if you agree on 10 a.m., 10 to 12. If we agree on 12 to 2, that would be fine too. So what do you think?
Okay.
Okay, what? 10
12 to
a.m.?
2.
If I
I
can,
think
I
12 to 2 is good.
12 to 2 is fine, right? By
Yes.
everyone.
I think some
Yeah.
some students has another lecture.
yeah, I think that.
Type 10 a.m. everyone. Would 10 a.m. be fine?
I think the same time that we took last week is good. Thursday, 12 p.m.
Was it Thursday?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
Would you agree on Thursday at 12, everyone?
Yes.
Okay. طيب خلاص يبقى we're agreed on Thursday this week at 12 p.m. and it's going to be the same link. Okay.
Okay, doctor.
So thank you so much, and until I meet you, I wish you all the best. Assalamu alaikum, everyone.
عليكم السلام ورحمة الله
وعليكم السلام. Thank you, Dr. ما قصرت.
Bye bye. مع السلامة.